So I did promise that I was going to make a video about Ansu Fati because there's still so much more that I do need to say about the player. He has now played 5 games so far for Monaco and has scored 6 total goals. This most recent match against Nice, he scored 2 more goals. But the most important thing from all of this is that not only is he scoring, but he's finally starting to find his form in terms of take-on ability. And that was one of the things that he was so good at back when he was younger. At the age of 16, 17, and 18 years old, he had the ability to go on 1v1s with great enthusiasm and confidence. If we look further past the 2 goals against Nice, he also created 2 chances, 2 successful dribbles. 100% of his long balls were completed, 4 duels were won, and had a match rating of 8.9. The comeback is very much real. Once again, he was also named as the MVP for September. And so now Ansu Fati is currently Ligue 1's joint top goal scorer this season with those 5 goals, leveled with Joaquin. Ansu Fati has shown very strong growth at Monaco, currently still only sitting at 251 minutes being played, but yet he makes a big important impact. His contribution in every game, it is insane. The only game that he has not scored in the past 5 matches was against Manchester City, but even then, without the goals, he was still very effective against City, completing many dribbles and being the protagonist to Monaco's attack. There has been plenty of evidence through these matches that he is regaining more sharpness, more explosiveness, and I'm happy to see that the coach of Monaco is gradually trying to implement Ansu Fati into this game, and he's not saying like, okay, because I want you at 100%, you're gonna have to start immediately, play as many minutes as possible, get as fit as possible, as fast as possible. No, that is the wrong approach to take because this could bring in some setbacks. So the Monaco manager is being very careful. I'm pretty sure that he has also talked with Deco, talked with Hansi Flick, and they had a conversation about how to handle Ansu Fati's next few months. And in those games against City and Nice, for example, he has also showed great defensive commitment and winning those duels. It's not just about him going up forward in the final third, trying to complete many dribbles. He's also tracking back and trying to regain the ball as fast as possible. So he is suggesting that he is much more of a complete player. He's a total package, and he's working towards that high bar that he's going to have to meet, which will be against Rafinha or Marcus Rashford. Because at the end of the day, that is Ansu Fati's goal, is to make it back to FC Barcelona. He wants to be there. The players, his teammates, they want him there. Every time Ansu Fati does well, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the players at Barcelona always repost his performance on Instagram or on X or wherever. They are following Ansu Fati. They want him to return, and I think that if Ansu Fati wants to have that chance of getting into the squad again under Flick's Barca, you're going to have to show extreme conditioning, extreme match fitness, extreme impactfulness, efficiency, and showing that you are the first trigger to a press, which is the most important thing to Flick's Barca, and especially in that attacking line. We talked about before on how important it is for Barcelona's front line to be exceptional in terms of pressing the defensive line. Sometimes you can be a little off, so it is a long road ahead, and Fati is working towards that. I believe that he can make it. I do think that the next step for Monaco and Ansu Fati, if they really want to experience the most success, if you really want to get the best confidence out of Ansu, is yes, we have seen Fati score goals, but sometimes, and I would say like 50% of the time, Monaco end those games in draws or losses, and Fati himself alone is not enough. I think that there needs to be better synergy between the teammates and Fati, and that way you can get more than just scoring goals. You can also maybe win some titles and really compete for the Ligue 1 title, maybe even against PSG. They're also in the Champions League, and I would love to see them go far into the Champions League. Not maybe quarterfinals, not semifinals, but maybe get into the round of 16. But let's take it step by step, right? Because yes, Fati scoring goals is the first step, but now the next challenge you're going to have to face is to show to the coach of Monaco that you deserve to start, that you deserve to be playing in every game and starting in every game. And then we can begin the conversations on whether he should be moving to FC Barcelona in the summer of 2026. It's all one big play that has many different phases. Fati is very well aware that he has a goal in front of him. He said even to the media, and many other outlets have reported the exact same thing, and that is for Fati to hit a 20 goal target this season. And with this type of momentum, this type of consistency, he can easily reach 20 goals by the time we do hit the month of March of next year. So if Fati ends up scoring more goals than what was originally projected, I would call that a successful season and good enough to get a call back to FC Barcelona. So there are some areas that he's currently working on that's going to make him a complete attacker. For example, he is a penalty expert, scoring twice against Nice and another penalty against Lorient. He's now starting to bring in more key passes. He went from 0 key passes per 90 minutes to literally 3 key passes versus Metz and 2 key passes versus Nice. These are real numbers. His dribbling has also improved with a 100% success rate versus Man City, more box touches than ever before. He had 5 box touches against Metz. That showcases he has better positioning. To me, in my opinion, the most important thing, I know that all of these different attacking qualities is important, but there's only 2 things that I really want Ansu Fati to focus on, because I think that this is really going to take him a long way at Barcelona. Point number one is to master the 1v1 dribbling, like really have that ability to take on players, because we need that at Barcelona today. That is why we appreciate Marcus Rashford so much, is because he has the 1v1 ability. It's exciting. It takes down players. It gives us more opportunities inside the box for Lewandowski to find those crosses. Ansu needs to become a master at that. And then point number two, be comfortable and always tracking back and trying to regain the ball as fast as possible. When you have those two things, I believe that you will have a very good shot at making the return. Against the Mets, in terms of winning aerials, 3 out of 3 were won. In terms of ground duels, like those physical duels, against City, it was 6 out of 6. And I find it fascinating that Adi Hütter, who is the coach of Monaco, is using Ansu Fati almost in the exact same way Koeman, Xavi, and Flick used him. Like, his role has not changed. It's not like just because he had a knee injury and because he could be a little slower that his role is going to change. No, it is almost the exact same thing. He's primarily a left winger, but his role blends between a winger duty and a forward responsibility. So he is somebody who operates as a forward but drifts between the wide and central zones. Against Man City, if you look at that game, he did embody a false nine more than anything else, very much within the role and position of Dembele at PSG, because we saw him drop deep, try to associate with the play, making those box runs. He's not really a traditional false nine like Messi or a Dembele type, but when you need him to, and you need him to play more central, more as a false nine, he can do that. But his primary role and what gives him the most confidence is the left wing position. Honestly, I would not even be surprised if Fati becomes so good of a goal scorer that we can maybe see in the next season a front line of Fati as the striker, with Rafinha on the left, Yamal on the right, and maybe Gavi or Fermin on the number 10 position. That is a attack that I believe can really work well. And of course, you can always be fluid with that. Maybe, let's just say, for example, Barcelona do end up signing Julian Alvarez. You can have Alvarez up top as the striker with Ansu Fati on the left, giving Rafinha some rest, Yamal on the right, and then having Fermin or Gavi in the number 10 position. So there's a lot of things, and it does get me very excited, very enthusiastic. So his evolution has been very fun to watch. I remember back in 2020 when he was 17 years old, being 10 games in, he scored 5 goals. He was much more raw, faster, a little more fearless. Now at the age of 22 years old, 5 years later, I would say that he's more calculated and a little more cautious on where he does go. However, he's physically stronger, more disciplined, and less reliant on pace and more reliant on positioning. I do think though that his explosiveness and his ability to always try to run past defenders is going to grow in time. But that is it, right? Like, that is going to be my analysis on Ansu Fati so far. Very fascinating. It's no longer just about recovery. Maybe it's not even about recovery at all. It's more about reinvention. That is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.